25 November. Even before it gets light, we have orders to board our vehicles. We make for the village and reoccupy the old positions and trenches scattered around the steppe. That saves us a lot of hard work because the ground is frozen so hard in the top layers that you can only break up the soil with picks. In good weather, we can see for many kilometers across the steppe. But unfortunately, in some places, the enemy can also see into our trenches. We have almost daily incidents involving snipers hitting our men. These snipers are extremely well hidden, and we have a very hard time seeing them. Rations and ammunition supplies are therefore always brought in at night, although even then it's dangerous. We assume that the snipers are aiming their rifles at the critical points during the daylight hours and then occasionally pulling the triggers also at night. It is quiet at first in the morning, but later on the Soviets launch an attack on Sheer Station with tanks and infantry. To begin with, we were only spectators to the action, but then we were also attacked with mortars and machine guns. The enemy came for us very suddenly, as if they had risen out of the ground. We learned later from prisoners that they had crawled up to within only a few hundred meters of us and had dug themselves in under the protection of a small hillock. The breezy easterly masked any noise made by their digging. While we hold down the infantry in front of us with aimed fire, a T-34 tank leaves its formation of 5 and comes at us from the other side of the Rakel, firing continuously. He stops at the edge of the Rakel with his broadside towards us. I've never seen an enemy tank this close before, and it looks very menacing. It has white camouflage paint, and its steel turret swings around as the gun is lowered towards the target. The thundering shot shakes it up a bit, and there's a small jet of flame from the muzzle followed by a brief smoke trail. The hit behind us registers at just about the same second. Then the powerful diesel engine revs up, and the monster moves off, its tracks clanking along the edge of the Rakel. I'm showered with debris. Just don't get spotted. He knows that we're lying here, but maybe he hasn't noticed our well-camouflaged bunker. He must have realized that we haven't gotten any anti-tank weapons here in this sector. In spite of this, he moves carefully before he drives through the flat swell at the end of our Rakel before entering it. One shot from an AT or 88mm AA gun would knock him. He is standing with his broadside towards us, but I know full well that our AT weapons are guarding the railway line and the village. Suddenly, he backs up and tries to turn, but he doesn't manage it very well, and then puts a track on the edge of the Rakel, causing bits of it to break off. Now I can see some pioneers in the Rakel. They're working with something that looks like a bar or a pole. Then I'm interrupted by Weichert, who is beside me and is making me aware of the infantry who have advanced under the protection of the tank. What should I do? Shoot? Yes, I have to, otherwise they will overrun us, even if it means that the T-34 will discover our position. I squeeze myself behind the machine gun and pull the trigger. Weichert feeds in the belts. At about the same time, Meinhardt and the others also fire at the attacking infantry. The first row of men falls to the ground and the others throw themselves down. There's no cover for them on the snow-covered steppe. What is the tank doing? He has spotted us and is turning his turret towards us. Then he lowers his gun and aims directly at us. He is barely 50 meters away. It would be crazy to stand there and fire, so I pull down the machine gun from its position and cover myself with the others in the trench. The resulting explosion is mixed with shrapnel as a shell strikes home just meters behind us. This time we were fortunate, but next time we'll have had it, says Weichert. A chill runs down my spine. Schweine brings relief from the terrible excitement. The tank is destroyed, he calls out. We move up and can see that the tank is hanging over the edge of the Rakel with a broken track. From the rear of the vehicle comes thick black smoke, which quickly dissipates. Someone calls out, "The pioneers got him with a hollow charge." We breathe more easily and are grateful to the men in the pioneer unit. Later, the Unteroffizier der Pioniere tells me it was a piece of cake because the T-34 didn't notice them under the edge of the Rakel and he had positioned itself directly over them so they could attach their homemade charge of hand grenades under the track quite easily. Even so, they were almost killed by the broken bits of track. Today, we have been fairly fortunate. The tank fire caused only 3 lightly wounded. The pioneers were forced to smoke the crew out. They had kept still for hours inside their vehicle, hoping for rescue by their own people. They crawl out, and I take a look at them. I have a strange feeling, a mixture of curiosity, threat, and respect. I'm quite surprised to see their helmets, which can be best described as a number of blown-up bicycle inner tubes sewn together, one next to the other. What purpose they serve, I don't know. Perhaps they're a form of sound insulation and protection against the cold. 28 November. It doesn't seem to get all that light today. It stays hazy and cloudy, and the visibility is so bad that we have to be really careful in case the enemy suddenly looms up in front of us. Düring, therefore, sends several men to man the observation post up ahead. Meinhardt reckons that the Soviets will make use of the weather to get up close to us. And it turns out he's right. Shortly after this, the observers come back to report that they've heard noises coming from the north, and I've heard commands in Russian getting louder and louder. They hadn't, however, been able to see anything, but there is no doubt that the enemy is on his way from the north. They hadn't heard any tank engines. Okay, so it's the infantry first. We're ready, and we'll give them a warm welcome. Düring sends word that we will open fire only on his command. He intends to let them come close, to within a certain range, and then take them by surprise with crossfire. We are standing with our weapons and getting excited. No one knows what will come at us. These are the worst minutes before combat, when everything in your body is at the highest level of excitement. The minutes become eternities. Then they're here. The first figures approach, bent double out of the haze, coming right for us. Everyone's waiting for the signal to fire. Pity I don't have any field glasses, because something seems odd, something that I can't quite understand. Someone yells, "Those are our boys, don't fire." Then Düring, "Keep your heads down. Everyone stay down." We do as we're told and keep looking. The soldiers in front of us are coming closer, and I can see those in the front waiting. Where they come from, I'm thinking, because their uniforms and steel helmets appear so new. Then Meinhardt's machine gun hammers away and someone is yelling, "They're Russians in our uniforms." The figures in the German uniforms are storming forward in an attempt to overrun us. Behind them come the others in mud-brown overcoats and dirty camouflage uniforms. We lay down crossfire from all our machine guns and carbines. Those who have not been hit throw themselves to the ground. The attack stops. In front of us we hear shouts. Then 2 Soviet machine guns let loose. A rain of bullets comes towards us, and mortar rounds explode all over the place. Another centimeter, and one of them would have taken out my machine gun. I pull it back and crouch down. "They are attacking again," calls Meinhardt, and he feeds another belt of ammunition in. It's a weird sensation firing on an enemy wearing your own uniform. It's as if you're shooting traitors. They are trying to overrun us in a second and third way, but they don't make it, especially when the pioneers fired them from the flank. There are an awful lot of dead bodies lying around on the snow in front of us, which are gradually freezing solid and getting covered by whirling snowflakes. We can hear the wounded groaning and calling out for help, but we can't do anything for them. Some of the dead even have German felt boots on, which we ourselves are in desperate need of. Where possible, these are removed from the stiff, frozen feet of the dead and put to use again.